So today, want to talk to everybody about what to do if you're running out of ideas as a DM. So what I do, if I'm just feeling stumped and it's like, man, where do I take them next? I use my references from TV shows, movies, and video games. So I have a lot of inspiration where I draw from The Witcher. I draw from The Lord of the Rings. And I draw from The Last Kingdom on Netflix. Highly recommend all three of those sources. They are all amazing. The Witcher, I draw from the video games. Do not much care for the movie, the show. I believe that the only thing carrying The Witcher at this point is Henry Cavill. And I've heard recently that he's not going to be doing the fourth season. If that is the case, that show is completely done for me. Done. I will not watch it. He's the only thing that makes that show bearable. The way he plays Geralt of Rivia is phenomenal. No one will be able to match his performances of him. No one will be able, they won't be able to do it. The Hemsworth guy, he'll never be able to fill those shoes. It'd be impossible. So back to the topic at hand. So with drawing inspiration, so we'll go to the Witcher 3 video game. We've had a recent quest where Gaia and Oakland in Storm, they're with Captain Sieg and they decide to burn down a warehouse. Well, they get invited to a theater and they meet Priscilla, which was directly pulled from The Witcher 3. And the whole quest, cardinal sins. And then all I did was modify it where needed to fit the world of Matheria. And we fit it right in there. It worked with Captain Sieg. It worked that she would be attacked, and it worked with the eternal fire, with the churches and the religions and the cities and stuff like that. It just all fit into the time period. So it was able to fit neatly in our world like a glove. It fit like a glove. It was perfect. I'm excited for everybody to hear the ending of it and figure out whether or not our party was able to catch the actual killer. So I highly recommend doing this. Take inspiration from films, video games that you love. Take that inspiration and use it in your game. Because a lot of times your players they'll know what you're doing. Like I've had times with other unrecorded campaigns that I've done where the players are like, oh, wow, I recognize this. And then it clicks with them. It clicks with them. And they know exactly what to do. And it just works for an amazing experience. So if you're DMing, whether you're a veteran or someone who's new, and you have no idea what to do, take a look at your favorite films, your favorite video games, and use them for inspiration. Don't be afraid to put that stuff into your game because your players will love experiencing something that they've seen or played firsthand as a player. And it's just something magical about that. I love it. It's fun for me as a player, and it's fun to do as a DM. Cardinal Sins was a blast. It was an absolute blast. If you've never played The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, I highly recommend that video game. That game is still, I think it came out in 2015. That video game is still my number one video game I have ever played. I've invested thousands upon thousands of hours into that video game, and it's probably the one game that I've played the most out of any other game. Skyrim was fairly close to that, but The Witcher 3 is just phenomenal. I've heard rumors of another Witcher. I hope that it is as good as The Witcher 3. That's for sure. And Netflix, get your head out of your ass and get Henry Cavill back, because if you do not, The Witcher will tank. It will tank. You're going to lose that fan base. Your storytelling is already extremely hard to follow. You jump around so much, but you can decipher it if you know a little bit about the books and things. But come on, get your head out of your ass. Get Henry Cavill back. Work around his schedule, because he is what makes The Witcher The Witcher. He is the only reason why I watch that show. He plays Geralt perfectly. That man, you can tell that he is a fan. So, what can you do to help improve your game? D&D. What can you do? So, if you're DMing, I highly recommend using a DM screen. Use a DM screen. Buy one professionally. Just buy one. It's worth it. I have a few. I'll swap them out on occasion. They basically help you remember things. You've got so much going on in your mind, right? You're trying to juggle the world. You're trying to juggle every character that you have playing in your game, and you're trying to juggle their decisions. Now, with decisions must come consequences, because if a player does not have consequences, they will not fear their decisions, and they will go off the rails and do crazy shit. So don't be afraid. You know, if you have there are troublemakers, unfortunately, that you can play with. Repercussions to the troublemakers' decisions is important. So if they do something ignorant, they potentially could die from this ignorant decision. And it's important to make them fear. You're in their fear, they will do reactions to certain things differently that can sometimes it can assist with the storytelling. And, you know, like Cadmus. Cadmus is a huge example. Cadmus is played by Janessa. And in the battle for Memora, she froze because she realized that, hey, these Timuridians, they're big, they're bad, and they're scary, and they could kill me. So it's important to have repercussions, and it affects the way that your players play. It affects their decisions. It affects all that. I used to be a DM that I would save people. I would go out of my way to save people because, you know, it's your character. I put a lot of time in my characters, and I love my characters. Every character that I have played since I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, I love them. They are a part of me in some way, and to lose them is devastating. It is very devastating. So I used to not kill people's characters off, but then I found that people were doing dumb shit. And I had an instance where an individual wanted to go down, and everybody's on this ship and we're fighting. Like they're locked up between two ships, and they're fighting on the deck. And this individual, who he just kind of went off and did his own shit. I wouldn't necessarily call him a troublemaker, but he wasn't really a troublemaker, but he was just dead set on sinking this boat. So he goes down to the bottom, and he basically knocks a hole in this boat. Well, how big? A big hole. And then he's trying to get out. Well, unfortunately, your dice determine everything. So if you're having shit rolls, you're not going to be able to get out of this boat. And I believe he ended up drowning, and the other 5 party members up top died. And I think the 7th party member, actually, it would have been Justice. Justice was able to escape with his life. Justice plays Storm in the Adventures of Gaia. He was able to escape. He was the only one to get out of this situation, because these players all have it in their mind that they can win. They can win. They can't die. They can win. Well, you know, sometimes in a battle, sometimes you can't beat the monster you're against. And you should know this through an X amount of time after so many turns have been taken. You should know whether or not, hey, I can beat this guy, or hey, I don't think I can. And running is an option. Justice was the only one who got that, and he was able to jump over the edge of the boat, and luckily he was able to swim to shore and he survived. The others all perished. That was an interesting situation for sure. He was the only one that was smart enough to flee. Not all battles are winnable. And if you make all your battles winnable for characters, they're going to lose interest. They're not going to have as much fun, and it's going to take away from the suspense and the fear of your story. So that's pretty much all I have for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. Just wanted to get on here, talk a little bit for 10 minutes or so, and just give some opinions of mine. So thanks again for listening. It's much appreciated. Our numbers are far better than I ever expected. And thank you. Thank you.